A few years ago, the city of Seattle increased their minimum wage to $15 per hour. And it was actually not an overnight, now it's $15 an hour. It was a gradual, we're going to increase it this much this year, this much next year, and then eventually make it all the way up to 15. Gradual, yet actually pretty rapid. And at the time, you had these right-wing think tanks in Washington, D.C., conservative commentators telling us that this was basically going to be the end of Seattle, right? Businesses were going to shut down left and right. Poverty was going to become horrible because of all the businesses shutting down. People would lose their jobs. It was basically the apocalypse, isolated only in Seattle because they were raising their minimum wage to $15 an hour. Well, here we are, a few years later, minimum wage $15 an hour and kicking, and at places with 500 or more employees, like big box stores or fast food chains, the minimum wage is actually $15.45 per hour. And the economy's booming. Absolutely booming. Job creation in Seattle is through the roof. Rather than collapsing the entire economy of that city, it's made it so much better. Rather than losing jobs, they're creating jobs at a pace faster than the rest of this country. Raising the minimum wage worked. Increasing the take-home pay of the people who live paycheck to paycheck has resulted in more money going into the economy, which creates jobs, it creates growth, it creates new opportunity. And that's something those right-wingers completely missed. All those people releasing the studies, the Heritage Foundation, all the other right-wingers, the ones who told us the sky was falling. They told us this not because that's what they thought would happen, but because they wanted to scare us to not pay people better wages. They actually don't think that this is going to destroy the economy. They have to know that all of the data showed it would do the opposite, which is exactly what's happening. I mean, even data from the 90s showed that increasing the minimum wage creates massive economic growth. They knew that. But what they didn't want to see was employers having to spend a little bit more money on their employees, giving them better pay. But at the same time, those same employers end up making more money because it's not just their employees who are getting more money, it's the employees of other industries who then suddenly have money to spend at your company, which puts more money back into your pocket. See, that's the part of the studies and the reports and the papers that Republicans always leave off. It's not just that you have to pay people more money, it's that you get more money coming in because there's more money in the economy. That's how it works. And this is why a $15 minimum wage for the United States, a blanket minimum of $15 an hour, has to be one of the top priorities for whoever wins that 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. This has to be a part of the platform. This has to be a part of the future. This is the only way to continuously grow this economy, which right now is on very shaky ground. If we want things to be better in the United States, if we want to snap income inequality back down to the levels it was in the 70s and 60s, then we have to give the workers more money. We have tried repeatedly since the 1980s to give more money to the top 1%, claiming that it was going to increase the wages for everybody else. It never has, it never did, and it never will. You know what increases the amount of take-home pay that workers get? Increasing the amount of take-home pay that workers get. And the only way to do that is to increase their wages. Wage increases benefit every single person in a society. Seattle is living proof right now. And the Democrats do themselves a disfavor if they don't make that one of the top priorities of their 2020 presidential campaign.